Welcome in, everyone, to downtown Tulsa at One Oak Field, where today's match, an afternoon match featuring the Tulsa Roughnecks and Tacoma Defiance. And we are set and ready to go for one of the first afternoon games in the history of the Tulsa Roughnecks here in USL Championship season. I'm Jeremy Poplin, joined by Dave Saunders. And Dave, we've got quite the match with a lot of big-time players on the field today. Welcome in, everyone, to downtown Tulsa at One Oak Field, where today's match, an afternoon match featuring the Tulsa Roughnecks and Tacoma Defiance. And we are set and ready to go for one of the first afternoon games in the history of the Tulsa Roughnecks here in USL Championship season. I'm Jeremy Poplin, joined by Dave Saunders. And Dave, we've got quite the match with a lot of big-time players on the field today. Let's start first with the home side and Luca Lobo. How about the last couple of games that Luca has had? Comes on as a sub. His first professional goal, he gets to the brace in 5 minutes, Dave.
He does. He's on 3 for the season. He's one of those versatile players. He can more or less play anywhere. Great start for him. Real versatile player, Brazilian player, and a good asset to the Roughnecks side.
And then Alec Diaz coming in from Tacoma Defiance, 17 years old. What a career that he's had at the under 17 level. He's got the lone goal for the Tacoma Defiance this season.
Looks lively. Great goal against RGV for Tacoma Defiance. And of course, he's represented the U18 men's level as well.
We've had quite the weather scenario here play out in the early portion of the day. Lots of rain fell earlier today. It's going to be a tad bit overcast, but it looks like some of that rain is moving out, Dave, so we should have good conditions coming up. And let's also take a look at some of those standings in the USL Western Conference. Tulsa right now currently sitting 5th in the table at 1-1-1. That win on the road against Orange County was big.
It was 5-3, and I think if you're Coach Ensign, you'd say after 3 games, we'll take that. An important game today, though.
Very important game today. Tulsa has a game in hand amongst most that are inside that playoff position right now, but we're so early here in the USL Championship season. We can't wait to bring you today's game featuring Tacoma Defiance in town today to take on the Tulsa Roughnecks right here at One Oak Field. We'll take this time out, and when we come back, we'll have starting 11 for you and get you set for the rest of the storylines for today's match here in Tulsa.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart, but you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
There you see the shot of One Oak Field from downtown Tulsa, where today an afternoon match here at One Oak Field with the Tacoma Defiance and the Tulsa Roughnecks as we get set for the kickoff this afternoon as the Roughnecks huddling up with one final conversation before we get this match started. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Jeremy Poplin, joined by Dave Saunders as we get set to bring you another exciting match in the USL Championship League. Well, what a week that it has been for the Tulsa Roughnecks. As you see the wonderful shot there on a chilly day here in downtown Tulsa. We've had a bit of rain here in the early going. Most of the rain has pushed out of the area, but we should be dry for the remainder of the match, but it is a tad bit cooler than the temperatures that we've had from the previous days this week. As you get a look at the starting 11 from the Roughnecks perspective, Dave, and a few changes that we see here from the last time that we saw this side on Wednesday at New Mexico.
Yes, indeed. Lobo comes in there at right back, the Brazilian. He's actually scored 3 goals this season, so good luck to him. And also a welcome back into Tulsa for one Akil Barrett there, wearing the number 10 shirt. Exciting player, will probably play wide on the right-hand side.
And then we'll get a look at the Tacoma Defiance coming in at 1-1 on the season. And we'll start first there in the back with Sam Fowler. It's a little bit of a different look. Sam Fowler from the Sounders Discovery Program was an under-19 call-up last year. He, Dave, is the longest tenured player in the Sounders Academy, and this is a completely different lineup from what we've seen from from Tacoma so far.
Certainly is, and a big day for Fowler. He's 18 years old, be 19 in early August. A big day for him, big day for all the players. Important day. That 3 points for the Roughnecks at home to go with their 1-1 and a reply for their 2-1 defeat in New Mexico in midweek.
We are officially underway. And as we mentioned, it was a rather interesting week for the Roughnecks, going on the road last Saturday with a brilliant performance in the second half there against Orange County, the defending Western Conference champions, to come away from there with the 5-3 victory. And then the tough loss on Wednesday at the expansion side, New Mexico United. In both of those matches, you saw Tulsa have to fight and scratch back from a 2-goal deficit in the early going. They were able to do so at Orange County, just not able to do so, though, on Wednesday night with New Mexico United. Get an early look at some possession here from Tacoma. Coming off of their defeat to Los Dos. 3-0 that score. First 2 weeks of the season at home for them there in Tacoma. First road trip of the season for this relatively young side that the Sounders Academy is taking full advantage of at this moment. This 5 to 6 year plan that the organization has put in place is at about year number 4, Dave, and doing a lot of research on them. They want to build it from the ground up. They keep talking about how they want to give members of that academy that are from that area, as you see a foul here as Cyprian has to pick himself up off the pitch. They want to give them that opportunity to be in front of that environment at the MLS level, and it sounds a lot like what the Roughnecks are trying to do with TSC and their affiliation, signing with them. They want to give kids an option to build through that youth level to one day play on this pitch here with the Roughnecks.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a very similar setup, isn't it, for both of these clubs, and all the best to them in the future for that. You and I were out on the field and we saw the Tacoma Defiance players walk past us, made us feel very old. They're a young side, and they're all very, very eager to do well.
So far here through the early going, there's a giveaway in the center circle, and the Roughnecks will now play this back to Cyprian Hedrick as they reset to themselves. Sprays it out wide now, has Altamirano. Step over move, has an overlapping player to the outside. He cuts to the inside. Nice move to create some space to set himself up with his left for a moment, but cleared out of the box. Skied, and the Roughnecks will come back down with more possession here towards the near touchline, deep in the far corner. Harassed from behind, and now a foul, and that will be a foul there on Leyva. And the Roughnecks with a chance here from their deep corner.
Yeah, it was just got a bit of tangled up there, and it was a definite foul. And Leyva there with the foul. Just a word on Altamirano. I'm sure Coach Little has told the Tacoma Defiance defence and midfield not to give him any room, because, of course, he had that wonderful curling shot here at One Oak in the 1-1 draw against Portland Timbers too.
Well, this is where we will also keep an eye on number 12 as well, because Luca Lobo has made a living so far off of cleaning things up inside the box on these set pieces, and Tulsa has been one of the more accurate teams in the entire league here in the early going with their set piece success rate. Here's the service in. It's a low ball near the front post. Comes bouncing free. And that will set up a corner on the opposite side. It's our first Red Crown Credit Union corner of the game. Learn more at redcrown.org.
Yeah, good pressure again. Alto Moreno involved. And first corner, as you say, and it's Fabian Bastidas who's gone away to the right-hand side, and he'll curl this one in left-footed.
You know, the history of these two teams, it's been pretty much all Tulsa 5-1-1 throughout the history. The lone win for Seattle coming last year, in which they won 4-1. This will be the in-swinger. Curling there, header, ball is free, finally cleared out of the box, and Tacoma has an opportunity now to send the ball deep here, trying to run onto it. Ball sent out of play. That's Jeff Adai, just trying to allow the Roughnecks a chance to regroup and get back to that defensive line.
Yeah, Jeff Adai, very, very important to the Roughnecks cause. He's experienced, he's played in Germany, and he sits in that holding midfield position. And of course, the two centre-backs were up there for the corner. That's Hedrick and Roberts. And Jeff Adai was the last man back. Very important part of the Tulsa Roughnecks side.
Burkholtz looking long. Cannot get there in enough time. Is a right idea from that back line. Well played ball. Had enough weight on it, just not speedy enough to catch up to it. Burkholtz selected by the Sounders FC with the 20th overall pick in the third round of the 2019 MLS Super Draft. Here's Fowler. Ulysses. Thought that he might have had a better angle to play it down the touchline, Dave. Elected to go more centrally with it, and the Roughnecks will take over possession here. Nice ball played over the top, running onto it now. DaCosta unable to do much with it. Hard challenge there as DaCosta goes down. Referee immediately comes over. This is Thomas Snyder, who is our center, as we get a replay and look at the foul.
Now, does he leave the ground here? I think it's a hard challenge. I think the referee will give a yellow card. I don't think it's a red card with my first look at the replay. I think you've got to look at whether the player, what the intent is there. And the referee will talk to him now. I don't think it's a red card. In fact, I'm not even sure the referee's going to produce a yellow card here. It was certainly, in this day and age, Pop, that is a strong challenge, and you've seen them punished with a red card before. But I think here he goes in for the ball. He doesn't leave the ground. He doesn't go in two-footed. But I'm a little bit surprised that there hasn't been a yellow card there.
Center Thomas Snyder wanting to set a tone here early, though, with a talking to with Endow. Our assistants as well, Jennifer Garner, Kevin Locke, and the fourth official is Matthew Corrigan. And the always dangerous set piece now for the Roughnecks with Rodrigo DaCosta.
Should say that we're always pleased when the player who's been challenged gets up and is okay to carry on in that instance.
DaCosta's ball played there, back, and it's in the net. And the Roughnecks have found a way to strike first here in the 8th minute. And I believe that might be Cyprian Hedrick that was face first on the turf. And the old central defender found a way somehow inside that mixer, Dave Saunders, to get a piece of that ball. And Fowler couldn't get to it in enough time.
Cyprian Hedrick there looks to the skies. He is the man with it, but I think you've got to feel sorry for the young goalkeeper here, Sam Fowler. I think it ended up going through his legs. We'll see the free kick come in here. There's Hedrick, gets a header, and I think the goalkeeper will be disappointed. He hangs his head straight away, and you have to feel a little bit sorry for the young goalkeeper. But if you're a Roughnecks fan, within the first 9 minutes, you're 1-0 up, and Cyprian Hedrick, there he is in your frame there. He gets the goal to open up the scoring.
Oh, the old crafty vet finds a way to open up scoring here. And it was difficult to see at a time, Dave, because the Roughnecks actually had 3 players all there within the vicinity. It was a brilliant ball sent in from Rodrigo DaCosta. And one more time, they find a way to net a set piece.
And I think it was DaCosta that was fouled. The heavy challenge there, picks himself up, curls a beautiful left-footed ball into the box, and there's Hedrick. But again, you have to say, you feel a bit sorry for the goalkeeper. He's hardly had a touch of the ball, and he couldn't gather it. I don't know whether it slipped on the slightly greasy turf there through his hands, but it's a goal for the Roughnecks.
Sean Lewis sends this one skyward. Working there is Silva. Silva tangled up, ends up drawing a foul.
Yeah, Alex Burkholz has certainly got his hands full there with Yano Silva. He's big and strong and likes a physical battle up there. The lone striker for the Roughnecks.
DaCosta one more time. Plays this one low, driven ball. Rodrigo's had better efforts in the past, but makes up for it immensely there with his defensive effort. You saw there Azriel Gonzalez from Las Vegas, Nevada. It was a brilliant challenge from DaCosta. I'm always intrigued when teams come in with academy players that are of the younger age to see how they adapt first. In my opinion, there's two different mentalities that you see teams typically have that have the majority of younger players. Either they're young enough that they don't know any better, or two, they allow the physical aspect of the game at times to overwhelm them. I haven't seen that quite yet, but you do get the sense that Tulsa here, after a shaky first couple of minutes, has now seemingly settled in a little bit more, and they're starting to find their places as that great ball settled there about Altamirano. Cuts to the inside, try to set up his right foot. Little contact there inside the box, but this will result in a Red Crown Credit Union corner. Learn more at redcrown.org.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Roughnecks have settled in at the home side. You would expect them to do the early pressing, certainly. They were put under pressure just, in the first couple of minutes. And the slightly more experienced side, although they are still quite young. Big test for the Tacoma Defiance young lads, though.
Bastidas, hand in the air raised. Curling ball towards the back post. Fowler got the fist up, got a piece of it, and then a foul, as we now have one of the Tacoma Defiance players down inside the box.
And I know it wasn't a clean catch or a save, but that will make young Sam Fowler feel a lot better because, possibly at fault for the goal, but he gets a good fist on this, and there was a foul, and we got, as you say, a Tacoma Defiance player down.
That's Hopiau. Shandon Hopiau, last season, started 24 matches, had 2 goals, 27 chances created last season. The Hawaii native. We'll see if we can't get a look here on exactly where the knock took place.
There's the fist by the keeper, yeah, and I think it was the keeper.
It was the keeper, yeah. He made contact with Fowler. Thanks
to our Tagsley Food replay there, whatever it takes. And there's Hopiau, just hobbling away. Hope he's going to be okay. Shandon Hopiau is one of the more experienced players, talking in a young side, isn't he, for Tacoma Defiance?
He is, and as he makes his way there to the far touchline, see if he is able to gather himself. For the moment, that means Tacoma will be playing with 10. Hedrick links up with Altamirano. Right-footed cross in the box, headed away. you haven't seen too many moments from Tacoma Defiance yet of being able to put the combination of passes together. A lot of this has been simply playing out of their own end, looking for the long ball. We've seen a couple of instances of that, but it's not necessarily what you would call the greatest approach and attack in the world. But they also know with the younger side, Dave, that there's going to be growing pains, and if they want to play out of the back, if that's how they have to learn, then that's how they're going to go about this.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to stick to that. And I was just going to say before you made that comment that Ocampo Chavez wearing 87 here, pressing Cyprian Hedrick. Hardly had a touch of the football, and he's the lone striker in their 4-2-3-1. So you're right. It's a great way. It's a great setup, and they're going to learn. And they're on the road here, and they're 1-0 down inside the first 9 minutes, so it'll be a test of their character here. Hopio's okay. There he was in shot, the number 37.
Lost in no man's land there. Had his pocket picked. Silva, little chip into the box, running on there. Bastidas was close, just not there at enough time. Fowler comes away with it. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the Roughnecks and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus get reminders on how the Roughnecks' next match goes and where it's at. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your favorite club. Contact right outside the edge of the 18. That is a foul. Hopiow. Bastidas, closest player within the vicinity, and Legrande as well.
See Hopio here pick up pace, and that's what his manager will want him to do, and that's a clear foul. I don't know why Bastidas is having a go at the referee there, because that's a clear foul, and I'm sure Hopio limping away, by the way, out of shot, still affected by that collision with his goalkeeper inside his own box. But he's important to the cause, and that was a great attacking run. Yeah. Anybody at speed is difficult to defend against.
Absolutely. You pick that head up and you see that amount of space in front of you, and Hopio did exactly what you're told to do in that moment, and he attacked with a purpose. The referee now continuing to have discussions within the wall. You see there on the backside, Burke Gilroy right on the edge of the wall for the Roughnecks. Step over. There's this shot that's there off the crossbar. And Sean Lewis tested there immediately, and now we've got a foul that will be in favor. Well, the referee pointed in Tacoma's direction. We'll get a replay in a moment of that ball off the crossbar, and here it is.
What a hit this is from the Swedish lad Joel Rydstrand. I mean, short notice has beaten all ends up there, and that could easily have been one. What a great strike. Came off the bar, no question of the ball going over the line. It bounced away from the goal, and then there was it looked like a collision and a foul on Da Costa, but the referee's gone with a Tacoma Defiance ball.
Rydstrand just inches away from leveling this one here in Tulsa in the afternoon. 18th minute.
It's a strange one because Lewis seemed to see it late.
Keeps it on the ground, plays it short. Roughnecks have that one sniffed out immediately, and now they will push everyone forward near the halfway line. Switch fields across the back line. Now they'll take a little bit more time, and this is much better from Tacoma Defiance. Looking at the diagonal ball, settled there. Hopiow off the deflection. This will be a Red Crown Credit Union corner. Learn more at redcrown.org.
Hopiow did well then, moved inside, allowed the right back Ulysses to come up, but he chose to go for the shot, hits the defender, and goes away for the Red Crown corner.
Curling ball, attempt at the header, And they'll say that this one will be a goal kick now for the Roughnecks. So a tad bit more in signs of life here from the Defiance. Still trailing 1-0 on the road on their first road trip of the season.
And let's not forget, you know, the Roughnecks in their 3 games, the record 1-1-1, have conceded 6 times. So even in the 5-3 victory, you know, they conceded those 3 goals. So it's a big afternoon for Cyprian Hedrick, Malin Roberts, and the rest of the back 4 for the Roughnecks today.
Looking for Altamirano on the dead run, has it, and goal number 2. Christian Altamirano has put the Roughnecks in front by 2 here in the 20th minute on a brilliant ball played in. The dead run played the nice, easy ball past Sam Fowler.
Wonderful finish from Christian Altamirano. You will see a little bit of indecisive play between the young goalkeeper and the defender here, but Altamirano says thank you very much. It took a skip off the turf as well, but a cool finish. There's the skip off the turf. There's Altamirano with a confident finish. The Roughnecks, 2 goals to the good.
And you see the celebration there. Brought to you by Pepsi, delicious, refreshing Pepsi. Calm in that moment, knew exactly what he was going to do with it. Couldn't ask for anything better. 3 goals on the season, now tied for most on the team.
Yeah, Altamirano scored that wonderful curler we said in a 1-1 season opener here against Portland Timbers too. And he's so dangerous, Pop, coming in from the left-hand side, cropping up in the middle, comes in on that right foot, and he just sniffed an opportunity there, and that's a really cool finish for the young man.
We'll have to get a look on the replay. Was that Lobo on the assist?
I think you might be right, and it definitely took a little skip off the turf, but again, you know, maybe, I don't want to be critical, but a more experienced goalkeeper, I think, maybe would have come for that one. And a little bit of indecisiveness between him and a defender. But Altamirano says, I'll take that. And as we say, a nice, cool finish to put the Roughnecks 2 goals to the good.
Hard challenge. Hopiao, corner of the 18, step over now, looking for somewhere to go. Lays it back out towards the touch. Ulysses. One touch there from Hopiao, and Ulysses tangled up. Unlucky there for DaCosta. And the Defiance now will reset here in the 23rd. You know, the one thing that we will mention is that the Tacoma Defiance goalkeeper Trey Muse has actually been called up to the under-20 national team. The U20 and U23s are currently in Spain. This is the final training camp ahead of the under-20 World Cup in Poland this May, so Trey Muse is on national team duty. And I believe we'll have our first booking.
Strong challenge. Yeah, strong challenge. Ball had gone, and I think the referee had no choice there for the young man.
Yellow cards today brought to you by Oil Fire Whiskey, America's first seductive handcrafted spirit. Deserved, in your opinion?
I think so. You always feel a bit sorry when it's your first foul of the game and you're saying, come on, ref, give me another chance. But it was a fairly strong challenge. And as I said, the ball had gone. But then you go back to the one, you know, earlier on for Endow, I think it was, wasn't it, earlier on the game? And you think, well, is that any worse than what he did? So it's difficult. It's a difficult job being a central referee. We know that. But I think that one you probably had to give.
Lobo has options. Will send this one out of play. Thought that he might try to look back towards Lewis. been an awkward angle, however, for him. Kept in play, and now Hedrick keeps this one on the ground. A tad bit hot from Hedrick. DaCosta unable to handle it.
So is this like Seattle-like weather, my friend, we've got here in Oklahoma today?
It is a bit like the Seattle-Tacoma area weather. You should feel right at home. We have been absolutely spoiled the last few days with the temperatures reaching near 70. It was in the forecast that we were going to have 70-plus degree temperatures today, and it just has not gotten anywhere near close to that mark. That's a good run here towards the byline. Flag was up that the ball crossed over, but how about that run from Leyva? And a well-received ball from Tacoma Defiance, just couldn't get there in enough time.
And I think, you know, Daniel Leyva's run, he's playing in the 2 of the 4-2-3-1. I think that's when you try to upset the other team by making those runs from the midfield. But he just wasn't quick enough to keep that in. But it was a good run from the young man.
Tough foul. Ridestrand's up. Get a look at it here. Tankersley Food Service replay.
I think he got a good touch in there, didn't he, Ridestrand? And then kind of left his legs there to take the foul. I think the referee was saying one more and you could be in the book, Mr. Antti Legendre.
A little triangle of possession there from Tacoma Defiance. Hedrick not allowing that ball to slip past the last line of defense. Altamirano supporting back.
I think that's good from Altamirano, and I think something you get with Mike Ensian's teams is that everybody's going to work for the cause, and we've seen everybody to a man working back and defending and then all attacking together. Certainly a feature of his teams.
Tad bit too much for Altamirano on the hop. And now Tacoma Defiance will settle at the back in Dow.
And it's interesting as well, isn't it? Both coaches have made changes for today. You know, this is only the 4th game for the Roughnecks, I think 3rd for Tacoma Defiance. I mean, you're playing for the rest of your season. You want to cement a place in the team. And we've already seen from the Roughnecks' point of view in particular, there's been changes at left back, right back, you know. So you've got to feel your way into this team, and the coach wants to see you working for the team.
Well, the one thing that you will come to find out about Michael Ensian is that he wants competition. He wants competition at every single spot. And there are guys that you look at, obviously like the Cyprian Hedricks of the world, that you feel like, okay, given his pedigree, given the amount of years of service that he's provided, that's his spot. But that doesn't mean that, you know, Michael Ensian doesn't look at several other spots and positions and say, the best thing for us is competition, week in, week out. And if you're a guy, as we have a player that is back at the far end, and center has stopped play here, has Thomas Snyder. Is that Altamirano? I believe it is. That is down. Looks like he may have. Did he take a shot to the abdomen area?
I think he's saying to the ref, just give me a moment.
Catch my breath. Did he get the wind knocked out of him?
Yeah, no trainer being asked to come onto the field. He's saying, I'm okay. Just the wind knocked out of me, I think.
Altamirano, by the way, goal of the week from that week 1 goal. Well done to him.
Not surprising. It was a great strike, wasn't it?
Need to say congrats to Luca Lobo as well for being named to the USL Team of the Week. after his performance at Orange County. And I cannot stress to you enough how impactful that was going on the road for the first time and beating the defending Western Conference champions in the fashion that they did. Because if you were to more than likely ask Michael Ensign about what their performance was like in the first half, I mean, we can be frank about it, can't we? I mean, it was not good. They got fortunate to have that PK at the end of the first half, but that was not necessarily the what I would refer to as a banner performance by any means, but it showed the resilience that they have to fight back the way they did there in the second half and to walk away with 4 more goals in the second half and ultimately the 5-3 win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think from Coach Ensign's point of view, you know, you don't want to give teams a 1 or 2 goal start. And it did happen in New Mexico on Wednesday, didn't it? The Roughnecks were 2 down inside the first 25 minutes. And they came back and fought back well in the second half and ended up losing the game 2-1. You can't give soft goals away, and any coach does not want to do that.
Good look here to the outside. Hopiao.
But just to finish on the point, okay, you give soft goals away. It's going to happen sometimes, but you want your players to roll their sleeves up, look at each other and say, okay, we've got to fight our way back into this. And that's what happened in Orange County and to a certain extent in New Mexico on Wednesday.
Fans, you can follow the Roughnecks and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. You can sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
I think Modu and Dow here with a sort of untidy aerial challenge, but, you know, following up on his strong tackle, should we say, earlier on in almost identical position on the field, by the way, has been given his last warning by the referee. I think that's it now. I think the referee will say, next time, Mr. Ndao, you will go into my book.
Mr. Ndau's a tall lad, 6'6", 177. Came over from the 3rd tier in the Czech Republic. Gambia native. Another dangerous spot here. DaCosta's curling ball towards the back post. Tried to punch it away, did Fowler. And it ended up coming off of one of the Defiance players. That sets up a Red Crown Credit Union corner.
Yeah, keeper did pretty well here, and I think Tacoma Defiance, we'll see on the replay, they wanted a goal kick here. We'll see. Keeper comes out, and possibly they've got a case there, but corner it is to the Roughnecks.
Bastidas. Ball played in. Roughnecks players in the vicinity, and now they've got a quick opportunity here on the counterattack.
Well, if you're a Tacoma Defiance coach or player or supporter, you desperately want a goal before half-time. Here's
Turning
a shot.
to look. Lewis had it covered up.
Yeah, Lewis did well to get everything behind that, and I was just making the point that, you know, with 13, 12 minutes to go till half-time, now we've got Mr. Hopio in trouble from the injury that he sustained earlier on, may have to leave the field here, Pop. But, you know, if you're a Tacoma Defiance supporter, you're desperate for your side to get a goal before half-time to take you in at least 2-1. You'd love 2 goals, of course, to go in level. If you're the Roughnecks, you want to see this out now and at least have a 2-goal lead going into half-time. I fear for Mr. Hopio in your shot there, because he took a knock to the right leg earlier on. He'll get some treatment here. And I think the referee's going to add 2 or 3 minutes on at the end of this first half.
Earlier today, we were talking about some of the call-ups to the under-20 national team there, preparing for the U20 World Cup in Poland. And we're just underway here in the 2019 USL Championship season, but got numerous players across the league this weekend on the international stage. USL has 39 total players getting call-ups over the international break. 20 of those have come from the USL Championship level. And it is quite the honor for those that receive that call. Saw Mr. Rivas, former Tulsa Roughneck, who is now in St. Louis, have that opportunity to continue playing with El Salvador. Here's a die. Roberts. A tricky hop from Roberts. Plays back to Lewis. Lewis had to quickly get to that one. Long service ball searching in the air, finally brought down. And ball sent well over the top of the bar.
That was Akil Barrett there. He's had a quiet 35 minutes on the right-hand side. The Roughnecks have tended to favour the left-hand side today, but Akil Barrett there coming in, hitting the ball with the outside of his foot, and it went a good few yards over.
Akil Barrett made his debut. Came in the 45th for Manny Gonzalez against New Mexico United on Wednesday. Played his college ball at Akron and also the University of Tulsa. Lobo's ball finds Silva. Silva uses the chest to settle this one. Easy ball back for Altamirano. And a die now. DaCosta knocked away. Burke Gilroy, and the flag is up here on the near side. It will turn the Defiance away here in the 37th.
Yeah, just a little bit of probing there, but he's working hard up top, is Ocampo Chavez. But again, we say, you know, he's up against Cyprian Hedrick and Marlon Roberts, and as we know, with the one striker up front in today's modern game, it's incredibly difficult, and you've got to have the service into feet. A young man up against two experienced defenders. He's working hard for Tacoma Defiance, but it's not really coming off at the moment, and they need more action on Sean Lewis's goal.
Diagonal ball settled. Altamirano from Roberts. Overlapping run now. Legrande comes to the foot. Oh, that one kicked away at the last moment. That could have been the 3 spot for the Roughnecks they were looking for.
Yeah, Akil Barrett very close to making it 3 there. Cleared off the line with the keeper beaten. Akil Barrett getting into the game, as we said earlier on in the commentary. He's not really had a lot of the ball, but he's desperate to get on the score sheet and make an impact for his coach today, given his first start of the season.
It was a well-played ball from Roberts as well on the diagonal service to start that sequence off. Roberts, by the way, has played every minute so far this season for the Roughnecks, as he paired up with Cyprian Hedrick there in the middle.
It's interesting when you look at the stats provided by the USL. 57% possession to Tacoma Defiance. They've had more of the possession than the Roughnecks, although the important statistic, as we always know in a game of soccer, is the goals scored, and the Roughnecks have that 2-goal lead, but they have had more of the possession.
DaCosta, diagonal ball, finds Barrett. Barrett on the dead run, steps one past the keeper. Oh, incredible save there from Fowler to get a piece of that. Great build-up there from Tulsa's perspective, but credit the young keeper for coming up with a massive stop.
I think you're absolutely right. Well done. Sam Fowler. Take a bow there, sir, because that was a great stop. Akil Barrett tried to go round him. Maybe if he had that again, he might have had a shot and tried to slot it past the keeper. The keeper does so well here. We'll see here on the Tanksley Foods whatever it takes replay there. That is great goalkeeping from Sam Fowler, and he's not had the easiest of 39 minutes, but that'll make him feel a whole lot better.
Great ball from DaCosta to set that up. It was actually 3 passes, and it was on the feet of Akil Barrett with an opportunity. Here's Bastidas. Barrett, plenty of space in front of him, tried to maybe squeeze that one in through, had time to keep that one himself. And Tacoma back on the counter. Can they take advantage? Hedrick over. Contact there, looking for the foul.
Well, that's what Cyprian Hedrick does best, is he gets himself to the ball first, and although he took a knock, it was a great defensive piece of play. And you know, people in San Antonio will tell you, and people at Oklahoma City Energy will tell you what a great defender Cyprian Hedrick is.
Comes free off the deflection. Well, that's twice now that the Roughnecks have had the ball deflect off of it, and you can see Sean Lewis is upset. Well, Tacoma Defiance have had that ball there just right outside the D with way too much space.
Yeah, I think he's upset with Bastidas there, saying, you didn't track back, my friend, and you need to do it next time. Don't let that happen again. And Bastidas, to be fair, put his hand up and said, you're absolutely right.
Red Crown Credit Union corner. The Defiance will keep it short. They've done that several times so far here in the first half. Back to the center circle. Give and go Gonzalez. Indow got to it in just enough time. .42nd minute. Lobo. DaCosta trying to thread the needle. Unable to do so.
Beautiful piece of skill, wasn't it, just before, and he was unlucky. Defender got in there.
Tackled away from Indow. Roughnecks had numbers if they wanted to use it. And able to find Altamirano running onto it now. LeGrande.
Jefferdie with another great tackle. There he is on the ball again there. And he's just, as I said earlier on the commentary, so important to have a player like Jefferdie who's prepared to roll his sleeves up, do the dirty work, and get the ball to the more creative players, with respect to Jefferdie, who's a creative player himself. But you know what I mean? He's just one of those players that will break the attack up. Free kick to the Roughnecks.
Who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com.
Yet another free kick pop that Mr. Bastidas can put in with that trusty left foot of his. Similar to how the first goal was scored. In fact, he's going to walk away now and leave it for the Brazilian DaCosta.
Rodrigo has, my opinion so far, I think this has been the best 43 that he's played so far this season. He's been involved in almost every aspect so far today. Ball sent in. It's there. The header and another goal. And look who it is. Luca Lobo with another set-piece header. And the Roughnecks now lead 3-0 right before halftime at One Oak Field against the Tacoma Defiance.
Well, you can see the delicious, refreshing Pepsi goal celebration there, because that is the perfect ball. Look at that. That is a perfect ball, and you just need to get your head on that and glance it past the keeper. No chance for Sam Fowler in the goal there. He just shrugs his shoulders and says, I can't do anything about that. Lobo becomes the Roughnecks' top goal scorer on 4, and it is 3-0 right before half-time.
So Luca Lobo will shoot to the top of the leaders in goals at the championship level with his 4th. And we'll have to make sure to get one other look at the replay on this, because I'll show you the nice subtle little move that Luca had to give himself just that much more space to finish things off with the header. And the Roughnecks here trying to show that they're not done yet on this touchline. They'll leave it here for Legrande.
But what an assist from De Costa. I mean, like I say, it was just driven in, wasn't it? And just anything on that ball is going to take it past the keeper if it's directed properly. I mean, there was still work to do, wasn't there, for Lobo? But the delivery was spectacular.
Good tackle from Legrande. Again, 3 minutes has been shown. As far as stoppage time is concerned, brought to you by Osage Casino Hotel. Learn more at osagecasino.com.
I don't know how many teams can boast their right back as being the top goal scorer, Pot.
There are not many at all, and they're not done. Here's Barrett trying to make up for it the last time. Sets himself up, step over, right there at the right, and at the last moment, knocked away. Oh, Akil Barrett was trying to wind up for that one.
Well, Akil Barrett, by his own standards, should have had 2 goals today, and he's just delayed slightly now. The Roughnecks under pressure here from a late Tacoma Defiance attack.
That's going to be a handball.
I just think Akil Barrett there, my friend, could have, you know, again, if he had that one back, he did all the hard work, should have pulled the trigger, and in the end he did, but it was blocked. But maybe just a little bit before, he should have had a go at goal there.
Lewis so far working on the clean sheet, aided by the crossbar earlier.
I think it's going to be an important team talk from Coach Little for Tacoma Defiance, because, you know, you either fold or you come out fighting, and it's got to be the latter, obviously. Whether he'll make some changes at half-time, but it's just opened up a little bit, hasn't it? The Roughnecks seem to have be able to get through in behind the defence, and I'm sure he'll be talking to his defensive players about that.
Bastidas out to Morano. Had that one poked away from him at the last moment. Come the Defiance, and a foul there from Adai.
Jeff Adai taking one for the team there.
Smart foul.
Yeah, had to make that foul, didn't he?
Adai with another good challenge, ultimately wins. Legrande. Hopiao. Poked away by Jeff Adai. Here's some of the Defiance players from the pitch level, letting their frustrations known.
And if you're Coach NC and you're saying to your players, keep alert, don't let anything penetrate your defense.
Burke Gilroy. Red Crown Credit Union corner, curling ball. Roberts, just enough. Akil Barrett back to receive this one, and that will do it for the first half. Roughnecks have come out on fire here in the first half. They came in leading the USL in goals and have added 3 more to that tally here in the first half. Oh, and what a first half it was. A goal early, and then a goal late as well, kind of bookends in between halfway through the first half as they walk off the pitch holding their heads high. And the Tacoma Defiance, on their first road trip of the season so far, have not seen their fortunes play out quite the way that they wanted to. 3-0 at half. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with halftime coming up next, live from downtown Tulsa.
When I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
In about 8th grade, I realized that my knees really were hurting, and I ended up tearing both of my patellar tendons in several places.
Dr. Stanley and Tulsa Bone and Joint, he gave us all of our options, explained them, and we knew walking out that we were in the best place possible for her. From a mom's perspective, without Dr. Stanley, without his staff, we would not have been able to give her her senior year.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart, but you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
I'm Miranda Haynes with Hogan Assessments. I'm the head of our business development department, and we're here at the Hogan headquarters in Tulsa, Oklahoma, working with the Tulsa Roughnecks. Really what we're trying to do today is gather some player data to really look at how personality can predict performance, even in sports, not just in business itself. Provide some feedback to a team that's near and dear to our heart. We have a lot of soccer fans here at Hogan, and One Oak Field is just down the street from us, so this gives us a great opportunity to interact with our community as well, and with those that are really seen as leaders in this community. So we're excited to be able to give back to the Roughnecks and to really be able to talk about how they can improve as a team and continue to build on their morale and really support one another and the community as a whole.
All right, welcome back to One Oak Field here in downtown Tulsa as we get a look of the city skyline with the Roughnecks leading 3-0 over the Tacoma Defiance here in this afternoon tilt. Jeremy Poplin, Dave Saunders with you. We'll get into some of the highlights coming up here in a moment. Some of Dave Saunders' thoughts from the first half, but first let's take a look around the rest of the USL. We were able to show you the table of the Western Conference here in the opener. First out-of-town scoreboard. Look at that 5-0 victory for the Real Monarchs SLC over LA Galaxy 2 in Los Dos. Other games coming up later tonight: El Paso and Rio Grande Valley, Timbers 2 in Las Vegas, Fresno and Reno, Orange County and New Mexico United, at Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC and San Antonio FC. That's the 7 o'clock start. But an impressive performance there from the Real Monarchs SLC with the 5 spot over Los Dos.
Yeah, they're always a good side, aren't they, the Monarchs, and LA Galaxy, who beat the Tacoma Defiance by 3-0. They're going down there without reply.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights from here today with the Roughnecks leading 3-0, and we'll start things off with that goal that got us started off on the right foot, and it's another set piece on the ball played in, and look who it is. Cyprian Hedrick with the goal to kick things off here in the reverse angle right into that mixer, Dave.
Well, Cyprian Hedrick doesn't score many goals. I think he scored one, didn't he, for San Antonio? So that was a great start. After 8 minutes, the Roughnecks won up. But then back came Tacoma Defiance, and that was a great strike from Joel Rydstrand with the keeper, Sean Lewis, beaten.
Ball that's ran onto here by Altamirano, and with the easy finish there on the one hop ball. Skipped right inside the 18-yard box, and Christian now finishes. That's his 3rd goal of the season.
Yeah, I think the skip on the turf made that goal, and then Akil Barrett going through here, and that is good goalkeeping from Sam Fowler, who had a tough first half.
And the Roughnecks weren't done yet. Another set piece, and look who it is. Luca Lobo with goal number 4 on the season, and if we could see this move, he uses both hands to grab around the defender, just enough of a little tug to move him out of the way. It's one of those classic moves, and he finishes it off with another goal on a header. Let's take a look now at the standings from across the USL Championship. Tulsa came in 5th into this match, having already played 3 games with 4 points. The Energy lead the way with 6. Expansion side New Mexico United, Portland Timbers 2 with Fresno FC. Still in the early going, but there's Sacramento at 7, along with Reno and Colorado Springs Switchbacks there, all right now within those top 8 spots. And let's have a look at the eastern side, Dave.
Yes, Eastern there, North Carolina topping things off with those 2 wins. St. Louis had a 1-1 draw today with Pittsburgh. They'll always be up there and thereabouts, so we know they've got a good team. So early, isn't it? Early on in the season.
Still weird, though, to look at those Eastern Conference standings and not see Louisville anywhere within the top 10. It's been a little bit of a shaky start for the 2-time defending champs, Louisville, but we know with the quality side that they are, that they will find a way to fight their way back inside the top half of that table there in the Eastern Conference. Well, some of your thoughts, Dave, here in the first half.
Well, I mean, if you are a Tacoma Defiance fan, you're looking at this and saying, you know, we've outdone the home side, the Roughnecks, on possession. It's not one-way traffic. I mean, it is 3-0, and obviously, you know, that is a mountain to climb for Tacoma Defiance. If you are a Roughneck fan and you're Coach Ensign, you're saying to your players, do not literally take your eye off the ball. Do not give Tacoma Defiance a sniff to get back into this game. If you're Coach Little in there, you're saying to your young side, okay, roll your sleeves up, look at each other, who's going to go out there and fight for this team and get you back in the goal and game. And if they can get an early goal pop, it's game on. If the Roughnecks get the next one, you have to say it's game over.
Let's have a look at the USL Team of the Week with some of the Roughnecks players there. Some of the subs out there playing a game of one touch. There's Lobo there at his position. Former Roughneck Paris G from St. Louis, also earning a spot as well. Moore from New Mexico United, who had a goal against the Roughnecks. Lobo and Moore were actually tied with 3. Throw in Brown as well from Oklahoma City. And Reno. All of those had 3 goals coming into today, and Lobo has been able to shoot past them. So well done there to Luca Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo in there. Good to see Paris G in there, as you said. And also one mention there for Loria of Portland Timbers 2. We saw him play here in the first game of the season. Very impressed with him. So always good for these players to feature in the Team of the Week early, of course, and many players will get their chance.
Yeah, how about this young man, Brian Brown, Player of the Week, and the start to the season that he has had for Reno. It was a highly contested vote there for Player of the Week this week, with several individuals having incredible performances, and Brian Brown ends up being the Player of the Week here in week number 2 of the USL Championship season. The Tacoma Defiance making their way out of the locker room here at One Oak. See there's some of the Roughnecks. You know, we haven't really had a chance yet, Dave, we've mentioned the youth movement here from Tacoma Defiance, and we haven't really got into what the thinking is. And the Seattle Sounders Academy program, I mean, you can just go and start checking off every single box from the championships that they've won from the under-17 level. That's where Coach Little comes from, and the involvement with Mark Nichols and how they have built this youth movement from the USL level, as you see the coaching staff there for the Roughnecks and Michael Encian leading the way there. But this is impressive. Everything from Danny Leyva's, being 15 years old, Alec Diaz, who's not here on this trip at 17. He has the 1 goal in the season for the Defiance, but it's expensive to run a professional youth program, and there's no guarantee that it's ever going to pay off. And Seattle has taken the approach from their academy level that, hey, if we're going to spend the money to do this, let's make it right and give these youngsters an opportunity. And that's what they're doing. And they've taken inspiration from Uruguay, and they've kind of looked at that model and said, you know, we feel like that we can do it. And you go and you look, and that's why I think it was so important for the Roughnecks to partner with TSC here locally. UEFA Champions League quarterfinal in the last decade, 86% of the players who participate in those games made their professional debut at age 17. It's important to find a way to play your youngsters.
Absolutely, and good luck to them. And there will be, naturally, when you're going that way, there will be bumps and bruises on the way, Pop. And it seems to be a world feature. I mean, I've got to get in that England beat the Czech Republic 5-0 somewhere, and I will now, because England ended up with two lads on the field who were 18. And I think it's become a young man's game. You know, we know that players are a lot quicker, a lot more conditioned these days. The bar is being raised all the time. All the best. Good luck to them, Tacoma Defiance, for doing it. And, of course, to the Tulsa Roughnecks. I know that Hopio did not start the second half, Pop. We'll bring you the substitution as soon as we have it. But he was injured. He took a knock early on in the first half.
We'll see here what the approach is from the Tulsa side coming out. As Silva is on. He's got to be careful. Barrett was calling for it, but he was offsides. And a blast from Silva just missed. And the keeper got a piece of that one to keep it from curling inside that post.
A fine, fine save from the man in your frame there, the number 66, Sam Fowler. Doe to his left. Good strike from Silva. Good save from the goalkeeper. And we have another Red Crown Credit Union corner.
Well, you'll see here, Silva had some pace on that attempt. Red Crown Credit Union. Learn more at redcrown.org. Bastidas. Curling ball. Looking for Lobo. Kind of sandwiched in between. Silva had an opportunity. That one's knocked away. And quickly, here comes Tacoma Defiance. A run on their own. Altamirano pacing back is going to get there first. And well done from Christian to make sure that he fights back to stop that initial pressure from Tacoma. Marlon Vargas is the sub that came on at halftime for Tacoma Defiance. Oh, fancy footwork there. Altamirano has options. Will keep it himself, but good defending from Ridestrand. Maybe one too many touches there from Christian.
Yeah, there's been a slight feature, isn't it? And you get a little bit anxious. You want to get on the score sheet. You know, Akil Barrett did it a couple of times in the first half without being critical. And, you know, you're 3-0 up. Everybody wants to get in the action. And just one touch too many there. Good defending, though, from the midfielder, Ridestrand.
And the question I had at half was whether or not that the Roughnecks will keep their foot on the gas. And so far, they have shown that they, in fact, will.
Yes, straight forward, wasn't it? And I'm sure Mike Ensign would have said, keep the back door shut, but keep going as you did in the first half. We know that Tacoma Defiance have got to come out and play. But, yeah, good attacking play from the home side again.
Far touchline. Poor ball there from Leyva.
Do you know, Pop, we talked about it, and we'll talk about it some more. I mean, the fact that you've got the young man's game and you've got these Tacoma Defiance players, this is when the coach looks at you, and this is when you really look at your teammates and you really grow up and you say, right, we're in a fight here. We're 3-0 down. We don't want to be embarrassed here. Let's get a goal. Let's get into this game. And you look at each other and you learn. You learn from each other. The coach will learn about his players today. There will be positives that everybody will take away. And, you know, they get a goal and they get a second one. We're suddenly at 3-2. It's a whole different ball game. As I said, if the Roughnecks can continue and get a fourth, they will, you know, feel they're really in the driving seat.
It's easy when you're up 3-0. But you develop character when you find yourself in moments like this. And not only character from an individual standpoint, I think you develop character as a team. Oh, Silva. You hear the groan, the audible groan from the crowd here at One Oak. They felt that Silva was going to be 1v1 with the keeper. It's called for the foul.
Yeah, it's a little shove. I think it was more the little shove than the tripping of the defender, but I think the referee's got to give that.
Right strand to Burkholz. Referee was waiting to make that call to see where the advantage was going to come from. On a quick restart here from Tacoma Defiance. Curling ball settled. Slots it back in there. Roughnecks wanted a handball, and the referee is there on top of it. Unlucky there for the Defiance.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the way that they've approached this second half. It was Daniel Leva, their ball just bouncing up onto his hand, but it was a great piece of play, quick thinking from the free kick, and the perfect pullback, as we often say in this modern game, onto the penalty spot, but Leva just with a handball there.
You start running down the roster of the Tacoma side, and you'll see a lot of players from that greater Seattle area, and they have what they call the 80-10-10 policy, Dave, which they say is working extremely well. 80% of their players are from the greater Seattle, 10% come from territories like Central Washington, Eastern Washington, Northern Washington, and the other 10% are players that they target from so-called neutral territories. So whether you want to go out and pluck a player or not, but that's kind of the approach that the academy from Seattle has taken, and you are seeing that now with the Tacoma side.
And it means a lot to you, doesn't it? If you're playing for your local area club, it means that when you pull that shirt on, you're really proud to pull the shirt on, and you really want to play for your local team and do it for friends and family who are often supporters of the club as well. So again, a great foundation they've got. Can they build on it in the next 4 or 5, 6 years?
'52nd minute. The 3-0 lead for the Roughnecks. Lobo shuts down that penetration. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation for the latest Select products and special offers. Ball finally cleared away. You can visit SelectSportAmerica.com.
I think this has been a very good response from Tacoma Defiance. Going in at 3-0 down is never nice, and they've come out and they've really got hold of the ball, and they're going to keep playing in the style that they've been told to by their coach. And I think it's been a good first 7 or 8 minutes in the second half for them.
Sean Lewis coming into tonight had allowed 6 goals in 270 minutes at a success rate of 60% for Sean Lewis, and so far that's going to increase a bit.
Yeah, hasn't had a clean sheet this season in the first 3 attempts. Would dearly love to do that. I'm sure he had a few words to his defenders at half-time. We are going to keep this back door shut, and we want to go away with a clean sheet and the 3 points. But a long way to go yet.
Well, and as potent as the attack has been, because now they have 10 goals on the season to the Roughnecks, if there's one area that I think you might have a bit of criticism about, and it's difficult. I think you know this as well as anyone. The back line with trying to develop chemistry in the early portion of the season is so important. That's why communication is so key. And they've had a few bumps here and there in the early portion of the season. I think this would go a long way to them, as well as Tacoma continues now to find little alleys, continue to play those balls in.
And we know that in the world game, anyway, you play this wonderful game, you need a great goalkeeper and a strong back four, and that's how you build great teams. And the Roughnecks haven't found the settled back four yet. It's very, very early on in the season. This is only their 4th game, but I'm sure it's the same for Tacoma Defiance. You want to have a settled back four. It's difficult when players are being called up, etc., and injury, suspensions, I know, but both coaches will want to get a settled back four.
Hedrick sends this one over the byline. That will be a Red Crown Credit Union corner kick. Learn more at redcrown.org. Roughnecks will have a substitution coming up at the next opportunity. Well, possession so far for this half has to be completely in favor of Defiance. Here's Barrett. Slips behind one defender. Barrett trying to clear himself and just misses wide. Oh, they're going to say that the defender got a piece of it, because that one was not far off from the back post. And how about that individual effort there from Barrett?
Yeah, Akil Barrett doing everything apart from just putting the ball in the back of the net. And like you say, credit the defender. One step over there, left-footed shot. And there was a touch there, and the Roughnecks will make their substitution before we have the next Red Crown Credit Union corner. It's Bastidas, who's had a pretty good game, Pop. 55 minutes, pretty good from him today.
We'll have an opportunity to see Reyes. Ryan Reyes here in the 57th, as Bastidas takes the long journey back, making sure to take his time.
Yeah, Brian Reyes, good to see him on for the Tedford Insurance substitution. Tedford Insurance protecting dreams since 1978. And it will be DaCosta with the corner.
Curling in towards the back post. The ball is free and in the back of the net. And the Roughnecks have put 4 on the board. And it's that man again. Unbelievable. Luca Lobos, now 5 goals on the season.
Well, it was a wonderful corner right under the keeper's nose. And I have to say, poor old Sam Fowler has made an error here. But the Roughnecks won't care how it comes. Here's the corner coming in. You watch the keeper here. He drops the ball, and there is, well, Luca Lobo, and he gets his 5th of the season, the 2nd in the game, and now there is daylight between the two teams. It's the Roughnecks 4, Tacoma Defiance 0.
43rd, 56. Luca now on the brace here this afternoon. 5th goal of the season. How does he do it, Dave? He's 5'9". He's not the biggest lad inside the box, but in watching him and watching his movement in the box, he uses every advantage that he has, whether that's using both arms. He slips in behind. He just has a knack for being in that right place at the right time. And what a target that he has created on corners and the set pieces.
I think your word, the knack, is absolutely right. There are some players that could just do it. They get a little bit lucky sometimes, but they have a knack of being in the right place at the right time. And he just gambled there that maybe the keeper would drop it, and he was right there to tap it home. And I'll say again, there aren't many teams that can boast their right back being the top goal scorer in 5. What I would add to that is I think he is one of those utility players. I think the coach could look at him and say, hey, I want you to play here, I want you to play there. I think he could play pretty much anywhere, but he's got 5 goals and he was in the right place at the right time.
No question. Was up for the vote for Player of the Week last week, and more than likely will be up for it one more time. Janu Silva is asking, can I get a break? That's a couple of opportunities now that I have had acres of space in front of me, and you've called a foul to bring it back. Too hot there, right idea.
And, you know, leading up to the corner, Akil Barrett did well with the shot, but really you have to say that was the first real attack on Sam Fowler's goal in the second half. You know, the Roughnecks were having to soak up pressure from Tacoma Defiance.
Still a long way to go. That one well wide of Sean Lewis.
Well, I think he's been a positive, Ocampo Chavez. I think he's worked hard, the young man up front wearing 87, without some support at times, up against two pretty good centre-backs in Roberts and Hedrick. But I think he will be a positive that I would take away if I was the coach from this game.
You can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. You can search for the Roughnecks and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on the Roughnecks' next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Sean Lewis is down in the box on the opposite end.
That is an odd one, isn't it? Don't know what happened there. We'll have to look. He looks in some kind of distress here, maybe a pull. Maybe.
For a moment, he wasn't moving. Now he was moving his head. We'll have to see exactly.
And that's
obviously the first thing that you think of is, yeah, look exactly, and they're calling for the switch. Watch this on the kick. Yeah, he knew it immediately.
Well done to our production team for catching that. Unfortunate of him. Well done to the Tankersley Foods, whatever it takes replay as well there. Sean Lewis, I think you're right, Pop, is some kind of strain on his leg there, and he can hardly move it. We'll see it again here, look, and he's already feeling it there, isn't he? Before
he was. He was right there on his thigh. You could see him. Great work on the replay there, guys, in the booth for catching that moment. And as soon as that ball left his boot, he was done. See, they're now being helped off the field. This injury report brought to you by Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward. Check them out now at tulsaboneandjoint.com.
And I tell you what, talking of moments, this is a massive moment for goalkeeping sub Andrew McRae, the lad from Nova Scotia. He's coming in for the unfortunate Sean Lewis, who will claim, of course, in his 62 minutes a clean sheet. But now, can Andrew McRae finish the job off for Coach Ensign's men? There he is. Thoroughly nice young man. Had to wait his chance as well. Hasn't been able to have a start because of the prowess of Sean Lewis, who can barely walk around the perimeter of the field here, Pop. So hope that's not an injury that's going to keep him out for too long. But a big moment, big 28 minutes for Andrew McRae.
Spent last season with the Ottawa Fury in Canada.
Well, he also played in Ireland with Limerick, and when I spoke to him pre-season, he had an Irish lilt, did Andrew.
The native of Nova Scotia is McRae. All across the face of the goal for a throw-in now for Tacoma Defiance. 64th minute. They're trying to fight and wins a foul. Did the Defiance. They go quickly here on the reset. They will distribute from the center of the park, out wide. Barrett with a good challenge there. Referee, though, will...
he's given it as a foul.
Give it as a foul. Thought that was pretty fair, in my opinion, from up here. Vargas. Curling ball. Hedrick had his hand in the air. He wanted offsides. Still free. Oh, tripped up one of the Roughnecks players there. I think that was a die that was trying to get to it, just couldn't, and ultimately wins the foul. Now Rodrigo DaCosta is down in the box for the Roughnecks.
Being helped up by the referee.
Speaking of Andrew McCray that came in, what was the television show in Europe that his players at Ottawa referred to him as?
Yeah, there's those of you that are from England will remember a soap opera called Emmerdale Farm, and then they dropped the farm and it became just Emmerdale. And he got his nickname, there he is on the ball now, from that, because he looks incredibly like one of the characters.
Bunchy?
I want to say Butch. There'll be people all over England now saying, no, it's not Butch. But that's a great flick on. But it's definitely from the soap Emmerdale, long-running soap in England.
66th minute. 4-0 for the Roughnecks. We'll have a sub now for Tacoma. Substitution brought to you by Tedford Insurance, protecting dreams since 1978. Justin Dillon on for Azriel Gonzalez. Justin Dillon, the native of Rancho Santa Margarita in California. Last year, 18 appearances for Los Dos with 7 starts, had 3 goals. Plays, of course, played 4 seasons at Cal Poly. As McRae gets set with a goal kick here. Nice settle from Silva. Trying to look outside, just couldn't link up with Altamirano. Fowler. Too much from Fowler. Matt Nance was the closest member of the Defiance. Matt Nance is a rookie from Xavier. That's signed with Tacoma. Here he is, left-footed ball. Played forward. Contact and a foul.
Yeah, Ray is just a little bit too strong there, but you know, I want to credit this Tacoma Defiance team. I think they've kept playing pop. They haven't laid down and said, here we are, here's the game to you, Tulsa Roughnecks. They are continuing to play and probe.
And they've always been quick to the challenge as well. They are not afraid of physical contact at all.
Absolutely. I mean, in the first half, you know, when it was 0-0, they were putting the tackles in there and showing, as you say, they're not going to just lie down in this game. It's a physical game at times. Both teams are trying to play the game in the right way.
Picked off by Silva, tracking back for that one. Hedrick just wide of DaCosta. Slips it in through, and the flag is up.
Good idea. Ball threaded through, just went too early. And Andrew McRae, who's, if you're joining us late in this broadcast, he is the substitute goalkeeper because regular goalkeeper Sean Lewis has had to go off with what we think is a strain on his right leg. And Andrew McRae it is, he's going to take, there's Lobo in your shot, he's got a brace today. And 5 on the season.
Silva using that frame to win another one. Altamirano. Good battle there. Ulysses with Altamirano. Roughnecks getting set for another substitution of their own here in the 70th. Here's Barrett. Silva in between two. Just couldn't get enough on it. Hedrick keeps it alive. Settled back down one more time. Opportunity here for DaCosta. A brilliant save by Fowler. Rodrigo looking for the penalty. Had both hands stretched out. Golden chance there for number 5 for the Roughnecks, but Fowler does his best and keeps it out of the back of the net.
Yeah, DaCosta felt he was pulled back. We'll see a substitution, which Pop will tell you about in a moment. But here is the Tankersley food replay. And you can see there was a little pullback, but well done again, I have to say, to Sam Fowler. You know, he's picked himself up and made a fine save there.
Here it is one more time with the reverse angle.
There was a slight tug, but I think the referee plays advantage. He gets the shot away. Good save by the goalkeeper.
Can I give you my old defender point of view on that?
Go on.
There's no way that was a PK at all.
There you go. Defender putting some pressure.
Of course, I'd be a tad bit more of a physical style. You can't give that one away.
I bet you were an uncompromising defender. I love that word, uncompromising.
Long searching ball. Roberts was the first defender there. Need to give credit as well. Roberts was one of the leaders in the league coming into today in a couple of categories, and one that stood out was passes. Actually was second in the league with 170. And was only 2 off. 172 was the leader coming in. Roberts has had another banner day so far. That sub, by the way, was brought to you by Tedford Insurance, protecting dreams since 1978. Gives us our chance to see Toby Uzo, 4th round pick from Orlando City SC back in 2016. Spent some time with the Colorado Springs Switchbacks as well. Houston Baptist and Coastal Carolina.
And it's a like-for-like swap, isn't it? He comes on playing the number 9 role. Janu Silva worked hard for 70 minutes. Chance for the big Nigerian now to put himself about. Coming on, nice time to come on, isn't it? 18 minutes, you get 18 minutes and your team's winning 4-0.
Little build out of the back. Dangerous there. Lobo, hard shoulder challenge. Knocks him to the turf. Fans, you can follow the Roughnecks and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Defiance are looking to try to pull one back. Several chances here in the second half. Outlet pass too much. ESPN Plus, by the way, just announcing that you can now watch and order the UFC pay-per-views via ESPN Plus. It's been a big weekend and week here in the city of Tulsa, with not only this match here today with Tacoma, but the first and second round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament downtown at the BOK Center. Yeah. Numerous fan bases in town, from Iowa State to Texas Tech.
I was going to say there was a very big following. I know they travel well, don't they? The supporters from Iowa, but I have some family in town in a local hotel, and there you could see a lot of people from up here from Texas and down from Iowa.
Yeah, Texas Tech and Iowa State brought a large number of fans. Houston brought a small pocket, and even Buffalo, University of Buffalo in town, they brought some fans as well, as Michael Insien shouting out directions there from the sideline. Good chance as well now for Insien and the Roughnecks to continue to work on different aspects and the tactics in how they want to continue and move forward. So with this being the 4th game of the season the Roughnecks will play, Dave, if you're Michael Insien, what's your thoughts here on the first 4? As Adai with a steal and an opportunity for Altamirano. Cuts towards the byline, has it now on the angle. The shot deflected away. Adai will try to win this one inside the box, unable to do so.
Well, Altamirano went past the defender there as though he wasn't there. That was too easy from the Roughnecks' point of view, and the coach, Little, will not be happy with the defending there. But Tacoma Defiance here, coming forward again.
It's Vargas.
I think, to answer your question, you know, Coach Insien would have learned a lot about his squad in the first 4 games. That's a good ball if it stays in.
Can he get there in time? He does. Saves it. Good job from Altamirano on the challenge, on the playback from the byline.
And you know the game is not won yet by any means. You know, 4-0 is a good scoreline to have, you know, with what, 14 minutes to go. But he will be desperate, Coach Insien, to keep a clean sheet here. And so will the substitute goalkeeper, Andrew McRae, of course.
I think it's important for them to keep this clean sheet, to develop, continue to develop some of that chemistry as well within the back. Also, too, to something that we didn't think that we'd have to talk about, but also to finish things off for Sean Lewis as well for the start of this match for him.
Yeah, and goalkeepers are always great friends and comrades, aren't they, in the squad? And, you know, they work together a lot. Often they work on their own, actually. And McRae and will want to do it for his mate. And Butch will want to keep a clean sheet. For those of you Emmerdale fans, I was right. Butch Dingle was the character, and that's how he got his name, Butch.
Danny Robles on the sub for Tacoma Defiance. Burien Washington actually made his debut for S2 on September 5th last season against Tulsa. Played 45 minutes, had 1 attempt on goal during that game. It's another Tedford Insurance substitution, protecting dreams since 1978.
And Tacoma Defiance, only 6 days till their next game. They're at home to New Mexico United, who beat the Roughnecks in midweek by 2-1. Experienced side, they're 1-2-0 at the moment, New Mexico. So it'll be another test for Defiance at home in front of their own fans. But this game not done yet. Still 12, 13 minutes to go.
Well done from Cyprian Hedrick. Roughnecks back at home March 29th. That's next Friday night right here at One Oak Field. 7 o'clock start. Rio Grande Valley in town. Not quite a full week's rest, but it's been a busy week for the Roughnecks. Tacoma now trying to find that elusive first goal. Shot not much on it from Tacoma. Robles has had better effort. Nothing like an early season 3 games within a 1-week span, Dave, of testing your fitness level here in the early portion of 2019, and that's exactly what the Roughnecks have had to endure here, with 2 of those games being on the road.
Yeah, they have, haven't they, with that extra ESPN game on Wednesday, last Wednesday in New Mexico, following up the Orange County trip, wasn't it?
Great runs there from Justin Dillon through the center of the box, looking for that service that was there. Roughneck defense up to the challenge one more time here in the 80th.
It's interesting, isn't it? I was saying about the New Mexico game for Tacoma Defiance. Then on Monday, April 1st, they've got Sacramento at home. Then they have a string of 5 away games at Orange County, Las Vegas, Phoenix, San Antonio, and OKC Energy. So a lot of traveling in for these young men as well.
That was saved off the line there from Malin Roberts to keep the clean sheet. If Roberts wasn't in that spot, Tacoma was going to find their first. As McCray was beaten, sets up a Red Crown Credit Union corner kick here for Tacoma Defiance. And one more time, they'll keep it and play short. Cutting through to the back line. Somehow kept it in play, and now over the byline for another Red Crown Credit Union corner.
Yeah, good late pressure here with 10 minutes to go. Tacoma Defiance want to get on the board here.
It's Vargas. Vargas pass to Costa. Robles. Kept in play towards the back post, just too high. Just a tad bit much on the ball from Burkholz, as he had a player making that back post run. But he needed about 3 more inches to be able to reach that one with the header.
Yeah, as you say, just too high, and a little bit of an inquest going on from the Roughnecks' point of view at the back. But I think the number 39, the substitute Marlon Vargas, is a tricky player, and he's made a big difference to this game, and I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
You see the Select ball, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
I think the Roughnecks want to be professional now for the next 8 minutes and just see this game out. They dearly love another goal, of course, don't get me wrong, but they want that clean sheet, and they just need to be professional here.
Look at some of those stats coming up here in a bit. Find out what that possession rate is so far. It's got to be heavily in favor of Tacoma at this point, but the most important stat is that 4 spot that's on the board for the Roughnecks, and they've got to be careful. Offsides now. Justin Dillon trying to make his presence felt, coming on as a substitute.
Yes, it's 62% to 38% possession for Tacoma Defiance. They've really kept the ball well in this second half. I mean, you would expect them to not lie down, as we said earlier on in the commentary. 4-0 down, they kept the ball well. They just haven't had the chances on the Tulsa Roughnecks goal they would have liked in this game.
Well, Dave, if there's any question to the strength of what the Sounders Academy is, I think we've found our answer. I mean, you just continue to look down this list. Altamirano off the great service here, sets it up, an opportunity. And I believe that might have come off a defender, but no, they're going to point and say a goal kick. Barrett feels like that should have been a corner.
Yeah, another chance, goes back in, didn't quite get himself set there. Did the Roughnecks, Rodrigo da Costa there, took it on his left foot, drove it wide, no touch for the corner, so on we go.
I like the patience that Uzo had there on that last attempt. Well, McCray called for it, but Roberts came over to try to clean it up. Left-footed bobble off of his boot, and a Red Crown Credit Union corner for Tacoma. 85th minute. Ulysses. Where's the byline? Vargas just couldn't get there in enough time.
A mention for this young lad on the ball, this Swedish player, Joel, right around wearing 72. I think he's had a good game in the midfield. He's never stopped. He's kept players going. He's had a go at them when they're not in the right position like there. And I think he's been a good leader for Tacoma Defiance today. Had a good game. And, of course, he hit the bar at 0-0 with that beautiful curling shot. 1-0 to the Roughnecks at the time.
You know, we talk about those power rankings every single Monday. Who's up, who's down, and where does your club sit? You can find out on the official USL Championship Power Rankings only at uslchampionship.com. Roughnecks are making a case here in the early portion of the season. Uzo with a foul right in front of the Tacoma bench.
One of the in phrases in soccer these days is game management, isn't it? And I think, you know, the Roughnecks, even though they're being outdone with possession, they are managing the latter parts of this game well. Here's Akil Barrett.
Barrett showing off the skill. That ball closely attached. Unlucky there. Fowler, who at times has had a shaky afternoon, but other times has been able to show why he is so highly regarded and has been throughout his entire youth career. And Dow back to Fowler. Also now showing signs of more pressure. Ulysses. Lobo heads this one away. Lobo one more time falling. Barrett brings that one down near midfield. Can't do anything with it, and now Tacoma Defiance have a bit of an opportunity here. Reyes is the one to knock that one away. Altamirano.
Yeah, good ball out of defense by Malin Roberts there.
Uzo. And here we are. Here's Barrett. Will he finally break through? He's had several opportunities. Little misstep. Setting himself up with the left. Had to go. Came off of a defender. Altamirano finds the ball on his foot. Left-footed attempt blocked away.
Yeah, Akil Barrett, it's his first real long, you know, game in a Roughneck shirt. He will learn from this. He could have had a couple today. He'll work on his finishing. He's certainly a very tricky, quick, skillful player and a great asset to the Coach Hensian squad.
Uzo. Toby has a look. Ooh, one hopper in front of Fowler. Does well. Collects it with his chest.
Yeah. Uzo a long way out there, wasn't he? But had a go.
Costa trying to press. Fowler's ball intercepted. Altamirano couldn't save it in enough time. We'll have stoppage time coming up for you in just 1 second, as soon as the fourth raises the board. I'm going to guess somewhere in the 3-minute range.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
Of course, I might have an earpiece in my ear, too, that might tell me exactly how much time that we're going to have.
I've fallen for that one too many times this season. I knew
my
that.
partner did not have the earpiece in years past, and he would be amazed at times about how accurate that I was. But this year, not so much. The fun and games are over. Three minutes of stoppage time will be added. 3 minutes brought to you by Osage Casino and Hotel. Learn more at osagecasino.com. Barrett intercepts. Oh, poor first touch. And now it's official. Uzo. Barrett. And this time Endow blocks it away.
They've blocked well, haven't they, the Tacoma Defiance. And Akil Barrett is determined to get a shot off on frame.
Christian gets spun around.
Well, I've often said this from this privileged position that you know, when you lose the game like this 4-0, you look for positives. And you know, we've been here commentating on the Roughnecks when they've been on the wrong end of a you know, being beaten 3 or 4. So you know, there are pluses that you can take. Certainly,
my goodness, I feel like there's been plenty of positives.
Absolutely.
For them.
If you're a Tacoma Defiance fan, you know, your team have the possession has been there, and they've won that battle today, and they've never stopped. They've kept going, and you know, the keeper, I know he's not had, by his own standards, one of his better games, but he's made some good saves as well.
Well, I think you feel the same way that I do. September 28th, the Roughnecks on the road at Tacoma Defiance. The more experience that this youthful side gets, the better that they're going to be, and I think they're going to still have that same type of tenacity, but I think they're going to be that much better the next time that the Roughnecks see this side.
I think absolutely, and I say it again, I mean, both teams will learn from this. You know, the Roughnecks needed to have a performance like this where they win a game and they keep a clean sheet, and you know, hasten to add, the final whistle hasn't blown yet, but you know, Tacoma Defiance will learn from this, and they'll all learn together, and that's what you do as a team. You look at each other and you learn together. And it's very early on in the season, we should say that.
Fowler has it here in the waning moments. He will send this one forward. Roughnecks are going to go to 6-1-1 all time in this series. Again, that one lone win coming last year, a 4-1 win at the time for S2. Tulsa has definitely been a problem in USL for Seattle/Tacoma. With that trend continuing on here, and that will do it. As soon as Akil Barrett gets the ball one more time, that finishes it off. And the Roughnecks with an important win here at home of adding 3 more points to the total. They now have their second win on the season. And need I remind you that last year saw 3 wins total. And here we are with 2 already here in the early going. A 4-0 final for the Roughnecks. As you see Luca Lobo, they're receiving hugs. Another brace for the right back. And leading USL right now in total goals with 5 is Lobo.
Incredible, isn't it, that he's playing at right back. We say again he's a versatile player, but he'll be pleased with his performance, not only from the 2-goal spot, but I thought he defended extremely well as well. And you mentioned that word knack of being in the right place at the right time. Well done to the Roughnecks. Well done to Tacoma Defiance. I know it's harsh to say that when they've lost 4-0, but I saw lots and lots of positives for them. And as you say, late September will be a different game than this. Michael Incian's got to be feeling pretty good right now as he walks off the pitch here at One Oak Field. And let's take a look at some of the highlights. We'll start first in the first half and how things got started here in downtown Tulsa. And it didn't take very long at all for the Roughnecks to get on the board and get on the board early. And Cyprian Hedrick, watch this header. Boom. Maybe a mistake there from Sam Fowler to let that one go through the 5-hole, but Cyprian Hedrick will take it. Yeah, he will. Doesn't score many. He'll be really pleased with that one. As you say, Fowler could have done better on another day. That was 8 minutes in, but look at this. This was 1-0. This could have been a different game if that had gone in. Sean Lewis beaten, all ends up, and that was stayed at 1-0. That was unlucky. It was the closest Tacoma came. Here's another Tulsa goal, this time from Altamirano. Little skip off the turf there, Pop, that made that goal. If you watch here, there, just skips off and allows Altamirano there to control. Nice, tidy finish for 2-0. A near goal from Tulsa now, as he found Akil Barrett on the dead run. Maybe one too many touches there, but an important save from Sam Fowler at that moment from the Defiance. And here's two different looks at the goal from Luca Lobo in the first half. Well, that's all about the assist to me. A driven ball in. Look at this. Low, flat. Just get your head on it. And he does and guides it past Fowler, who basically shrugs his shoulder and said, I can't do anything about that. And that was 3-0 to the Roughnecks. And to the second half. A near goal from Tulsa here in the opening moments. Yeah, good save. Fowler will look back on that one as one of the positives from his game, but this is not so good from the goalkeeper. Excuse me. There's a block there. We're going to see the next goal where it wasn't so good from the goalkeeper, but here's Akil Barrett coming forward again, desperate to get on the score sheet. Good shot here, goes away for the corner, and this was the corner that brought the 4th goal. Look at this angle from the back on the reverse side. And the finish that was there. A couple of Roughnecks players had an opportunity at it, but it's number 12 one more time with the simple finish there to the far side of the net. Goal number 5 on the season for Luca. Yeah, keeper had it and then didn't have it, and here was another opportunity. Felt there was a foul there, did our friend Mr. DaCosta, but the referee said no. Still the Roughnecks coming forward. Another opportunity for DaCosta, just snatched at that one. I just noticed Akil Barrett's reaction there as that ball sailed by that post from him, as the Roughnecks players will now go to the far end of the field and celebrate with the supporters groups that are here, as the final score sees the Roughnecks a 4-0 win over the Tacoma Defiance. We want to thank everyone here from the production side, those of you watching in on ESPN+, and thank you to all the great shots from the camera crew doing a great job as always. For my partner Dave Saunders, I'm Jeremy Poplin saying have a great week from all of us here in downtown Tulsa. Final score for the final time, Roughnecks 3 points as they win 4-0 over the Tacoma Defiance.
Today.
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart, but you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
In about 8th grade, I realized that my knees really were hurting, and I ended up tearing both of my patellar tendons in several places.
Dr. Stanley and Tulsa Bone and Joint, he gave us all of our options, explained them, and we knew walking out that we were in the best place possible for her. From a mom's perspective, without Dr. Stanley, without his staff, we would not have been able to give her her senior year.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully